What if Gojo was in the Heian Era, Sukuna's era? So, you guys know one of the biggest fights in JJK. Honestly, one of the biggest fights in all of anime history is Gojo versus Sukuna. It hasn't even been fully animated yet, but it's already legendary. Personally, a lot of people are probably gonna get mad at my opinion here, but I think Gojo would have won if Sukuna didn't have Mahoraga. But this is a what if, so don't take it too seriously. Let's get right into it. Now, let's say Gojo was a kid during Sukuna's time. This whole scenario depends on him unlocking reverse cursed energy and reaching his true potential. If you watched season 2, you know Gojo wasn't at full power yet. He had to experience a near-death situation just to learn reverse curse technique, hollow purple, and most of his main abilities. In this timeline, Sukuna probably wouldn't kill him right away. Sukuna enjoyed creating strong opponents to fight, and Kenjaku likely wasn't hunting Six Eyes users yet, so Gojo would have been safe for a while. The real question is how Gojo would unlock his full power. The Heian Era was the strongest era of Jujutsu sorcery. Sukuna himself said it. There were countless powerful sorcerers back then, so Gojo could have been pushed to his limits by one of them, forcing a near-death awakening that helped him master his reverse curse technique and main abilities. Someone on Toji Fushiguro's level could have brought him to the brink, unlocking his full potential. The only thing missing would be his best friend, because before his awakening, base Gojo was only around Geto's level, but after his near-death experience, he became a completely different monster. So now we've got a fully awakened Gojo in the Heian Era. He starts fighting the strongest sorcerers of the time, but none can truly match him, because, you know, he's the strongest. By now, he's gained way more fighting experience than he ever had in his original timeline. In modern Jujutsu Kaisen, not even the strongest special grades compare. Gojo was already the pinnacle of strength, and now, imagine that same level of power existing alongside Sukuna in the peak era of Jujutsu. It's gonna be insane, but I don't think Gojo would rush straight into fighting Sukuna. Yeah, he's cocky and confident, but for this what if, let's say we wait until Gojo's older and fully knowledgeable about cursed energy and all his abilities before that inevitable clash. Now, I just want to tell you guys, this is all completely hypothetical. We really don't know much about the Heian Era, only that it was the pinnacle of Jujutsu sorcery. So just bear with me, because this is a hard what if when there isn't much official information to go off of. That said, I think Gojo would actually be way stronger in this era. One thing we do know about the Heian Era, if you piece a few things together, is how domain expansions worked. If you look at Sukuna's domain, it's completely different from Gojo's. Sukuna's is an open domain, while Gojo's is a closed domain. In the original series, Gojo explained that the only way to break a domain expansion is by hitting it from the outside, since that's its weakest point. But because Sukuna's domain is open, he can attack freely and even damage Gojo's domain from the outside. That's a huge advantage. Now, if you notice, both Sukuna and Kenjaku, back in the Heian Era, used open domains. So I think Gojo would adapt and learn an open domain too, since he's living in the same era and constantly evolving his abilities to survive. Before we get into Gojo versus Sukuna, let's keep in mind that Gojo would already know most of the tricks Sukuna knows. Since he lives in the same time period, he'd have the same level of knowledge about cursed energy and advanced techniques, just like the open domain I mentioned earlier. So before we actually compare them, let's go over both of their abilities, starting with Gojo Satoru, refined technique and the limitless power of the Six Eyes, and limitless cursed technique. His inherited limitless gives him control over space at an atomic level, letting him manipulate distance, motion, and infinity itself. The most basic application, infinity, creates an invisible barrier that slows attacks infinitely before they reach him, making it almost impossible to touch him. He can use cursed technique lapse, blue to create a vacuum that attracts matter, cursed technique reversal, red to repel with overwhelming force, and the combination of both, hollow purple, to erase anything it touches from existence. Gojo's Six Eyes grants him almost godlike perception and cursed energy efficiency. He can process massive amounts of information, see cursed energy in perfect detail, and use his abilities with virtually zero waste. His domain expansion, Unlimited Void, traps opponents inside an infinite space filled with endless information, overloading their senses and rendering them immobile. Altogether, Gojo's intellect, precision, and raw power make him not only the strongest sorcerer of his era, but one of the most broken characters in modern anime. Now that we've gone over Gojo, let's move on to Sukuna's Heian Era abilities. His abilities were terrifying, combining raw cursed energy output, deadly precision, and absolute mastery of technique. His innate technique, Dismantle and Cleave, are slashing attacks made purely from cursed energy. Dismantle is a general-purpose slash that cuts through anything, while Cleave automatically adjusts its power based on the target's durability, slicing through both humans and cursed spirits with surgical accuracy. Sukuna's domain, Expansion, Malevolent Shrine, doesn't create a closed barrier like most domains. Instead, it manifests directly into the real world, covering a massive radius, around 2 200 meters, where anything within range is continuously shredded by countless cursed slashes. He's also a master of reverse cursed technique, allowing him to heal himself instantly and fight in prolonged battles without exhaustion. Ancient accounts even suggest he possessed other techniques related to fire, since we've seen him use his rare fire arrow ability, something almost no other sorcerer can replicate. Altogether, Sukuna in the Heian Era wasn't just strong, he was a godlike force of nature, blending unmatched regeneration, precision, and destructive power that defined the golden age of Jujutsu. Now, let's get into Gojo versus Sukuna. So now Gojo has an open domain, which means Sukuna can't hit him from the outside or break through it anymore. Both of their domains are basically equal at this point, canceling each other out. With that, Sukuna can't even get close to Gojo because of infinity, so it just turns into Gojo straight up beating him down. Without Mahoraga, Sukuna has no real way to counter infinity, so Gojo completely dominates the fight. That's the Heian Era for you. Pure chaos, but Gojo runs it. Of course, this whole thing is imaginary. It's a what-if scenario, so we don't know exactly how Gojo would fight using an open domain. But if Sukuna couldn't counteract infinity or overpower Gojo's domain, then he wouldn't even land any serious hits. In their original fight, Gojo already had some cuts and bruises, but nothing fatal. Without Mahoraga or a stronger domain, Sukuna just wouldn't stand a chance. Gojo would take the win easily. Anyway, I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this one, but hey, it's all just for fun. Make sure to check out my Demon Slayer content too, and I'll see you guys in the next video.